Year after year, the show has been a staple in our lives, from Maggie shooting Mr. Burns to Fat Homer wearing the moo-moo. Hilarious. But recently, fans are speculating that the series is on its last legs. How much longer can The Simpsons actually go on? It's time to eat our shorts, folks. It's The Loop. Joining us via satellite tonight from our nation's capital, writer for Slate.com, Chris Suellentrop; from New York, lifestyle editor for MSNBC, John Bonet; and from Los Angeles, editor for IGNTV.com, Dan Iverson. Gentlemen, welcome to a very Simpsons Loop. Chris, I want to start with you here. We're talking about the 18th season of The Simpsons. Should we just take the show out to the pasture and put a bullet through its head already?
Well, I'm just not sure it even matters if you cancel it anymore. I mean, would anybody notice, except for the fact that you'd have different promos to watch during Fox's NFL broadcasts?
Well, I think 9 million viewers still tune in. Are they wrong, or has this series completely changed?
You know, I'm sure a lot of people read Blondie and Beetle Bailey in their newspaper, but, they're just a pale shadow of what they used to be. I mean, I say keep it on because maybe in season 465, it might be funny again.
All right, Dan, that's a pretty bold statement to say that cancellation doesn't even matter because the show's irrelevant. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's irrelevant at all. I mean, I think it's still relevant as to the culture. It still stays socially relevant with the episodes. And to tell you the truth, I've already seen the next episode that's going to be airing on Sunday, and I'll tell you, it is very funny, and it...
now, is it very funny because the last few seasons haven't been, or is it very funny because on its own, as a standalone Simpsons episode, it gets back to maybe an older theme, an older time?
It gets back to an older theme. It is very true that they haven't been as good as 5 to 8, but the thing is it's never been bad. The show has always been better than everything it's been bookmarked with.
Oh, it had some really bad.
The show has definitely been bad.
Seasons.
John, what happened? People say the show either jumped the shark or completely fell off the wagon around 96, 97. What do you think, John?
Yeah, and I might even put a little before that. I think what happened was they decided it was all about Homer, and they kind of they went for this character, who was what fans called jerk-ass Homer. He was a pain, and they decided that was really funny. They forgot about everything else, and the show stopped being kind of meta, and it just got stupid. And it was only maybe like 2-3 seasons ago they sort of got back on track, and they're kind of reeling it back in, maybe.
Once again, I've mentioned that after seeing the next episode, it looks like they are doing a really good job of bringing it back to what it once was. The parodies and the relevant cultural themes that are going through the episode are actually really funny and actually much better than I was even expecting myself.
Well, okay, so the new show might be great. It might bring back some quality. But, Chris, what about these past few seasons that we've been watching? Has the quality of The Simpsons gone downhill, or has the competition just gotten better?
Well, there are better shows out there, but The Simpsons is definitely worse than it used to be. I can pinpoint the exact moment, in fact. You asked if it's jumped the shark. I think we should even change the term. There's an episode in season 12 in which Homer gets raped by a panda. And instead of saying that a show got bad because Fonzie and Happy Days jumped over a shark, we can say, oh, remember when The Simpsons got raped by a panda?
For the record, Chris...
Oh, remember when Family Guy got raped by a panda?
Chris, for the record, there's 3 people here that you're speaking with. We all giggled like little schoolgirls when you said raped by a panda, even twice.
We are so stealing
So
that.
maybe that wasn't the moment. What do you think, Dan? What about shows like Family Guy and South Park? Have they eaten away at The Simpsons?
I don't think they've eaten away. It's a different audience altogether. Even though they're animated programming, South Park is rated MA, Family Guy is rated 14, and Simpsons is PG. It's a different audience altogether. You can actually have a family sit down and watch Simpsons, but you do not want your children watching South Park. As socially relevant as the show is, it's hard to show that to a kid in the middle of all the coarse jokes that go throughout the episodes. So I'd say that, it still does hang in there with the other ones. It's just a different show for a different audience.
John, what can save this show? I mean, again, it still has 9 million some odd viewers. It's still raking in loads of cash, so it doesn't sound like it's exactly drowning. But what would save this show for all the previous fans? Can they bring it back?
Well, there's two things. One is they can figure out how to give it a decent death, and they've got probably 2-3 more seasons that they're going to string it out, and then they need to figure it out seriously how to wrap it up. And the other is the movie. And if they can figure out how to do the movie right, and that's going to be next year, they can figure out how to do the movie right and not do this kind of ridiculous X-Files thing where they kind of answered questions and they kind of didn't, and then they had another season to go after that. If they can nail that, then maybe they'll bring people back for sort of like a graceful swan song.
Sure. Chris, what do you think? Could the movie save the franchise for the fans who have already turned their backs on it?
I just don't think so. I mean, they've lost all moorings and all sense of character. I mean, this was a show that was grounded, that had rules. It was a reaction to syrupy, sentimental sitcoms like Family Ties and Cosby Show. This was going to be a real family that went to church and had money problems. And now they're just a bunch of, they're like a bunch of Chandler Bings. They're just empty vessels for jokes. There's no
welcome
depth or
to my
to the
reality. I know exactly what you're talking about. Dan, what do you think here? Final thoughts. The movie, is it going to save The Simpsons, or will it be a good swan song for them?
I really hope that it's very good. It'll be a 90-minute episode, and I sure hope that it can resurrect the series and make sure that it goes back to the point that it once was at.
I think you echo the sentiments of many, many Simpsons fans out there. It's true. The Simpsons can't get any worse than Fox's celebrity duets, so let's just be glad for the small favors that we get. And if you want to see some great Simpsons episode, the 8th season DVD is available in stores now. Thanks to Chris, John, and Dan for keeping us in the loop.